Hi, Jorge Molina here. Welcome to my brand new tutorial for the Miracleman original art piece. This was commissioned by a fan for the CCXP convention. This time around, I tested new materials, so you will be able to see how I handle and adapt to a new paper and new markers. I'm adding colors right from the get-go in the first steps, just by switching between different Prismacolor tones and then going on top of it with markers and just start laying shadows, and then the last step is the lighting. So hope you enjoy, and if you got any questions, just drop a comment. Thank you. To my right, I have my iPad. I have this as a reference for my lighting. I made this block out model using Magic Poster where I put the lighting and I put the pose. The reason I keep this close to me on my right is because I keep looking at this a lot whenever I'm rendering shadows, just to like get the nuances on the transitions, kind of like all these soft transitions, and like making sure I have my hard edges kind of like in the ears and my soft edges in the right place. So I recommend this whenever you're doing a commission or whatever drawing you're doing. Have your reference close by, very close to you, always available. I guess in a way you can call this the inking stage, even though I'm not using ink. But if we're going for like traditional terminology for comic book art, this will be the inking process, I guess. Another idea that I usually approach whenever I'm doing these type of drawings is to try to always think three-dimensional, of course, but just try to take it a bit of step further and try to like imagine all these things individually. Once you get your whole anatomy done and you have a good breakout of where everything's gonna be in terms of like the placement, just try to like place individually every single element of like, if this was laying on the table, just the neck piece, how would that look? How thick would that be? That's why I'm making this line thicker, because I'm figuring this will be on top of the basic suit. Having that thought process kind of helps you to understand the shape a little bit better, because you're trying to like imagine or placing it in a three-dimensional space. So like if I were to use this or touch this or wear this, how will it feel? How will it look? All those things you should take in consideration. I mean, it goes a little bit hand in hand with character design, and that's one of the reasons why I love video game work so much, because you have more time and freedom to think about all these things, which sometimes in comic books you can't stop and think about every single element like this. But that's why I enjoy doing these type of commissions, because I get to, you know, wonder and take some time to like give every single element and piece more thought, more detail. And I always love to like redesign the characters to what I think will look better. I'm not saying they do, it's just that's what I'm striking for. It's like, okay, I have this iconic character from what, the 60s, the 70s. Is there a way that I can like modernize this outfit to like look more current? And I know some people are very purist and don't like that, but at least for me, whenever I try to do a commission, I try to enjoy whatever I'm working on. And that's part of the enjoyment, have some creative freedom and like have my own take. So the idea is to go from my lightest tone to my darkest tone in the face and go very gently, almost like dabbing into the paper, because you don't want to smudge what you have here. So it's just very gentle. I started just doing the first layer of like my light tones, then I start darkening until I reach all the values that I feel comfortable with. So right now I'm going with the darker tone, slightly darker, but now I'm leaving some light areas. Looking at my reference and seeing where those are. Again, same thought process, is just filling the area, just doing a flat surface, making sure that I'm not smudging and it's an even area. The idea is to like build more shadows on top of it, and with the Prismacolors add more lights also. And if I need any hard, solid lights, I can add them with acrylics later on. But right now, I can see some of the underneath structure, which is gonna help me out to render this out better. So what I'm doing right now is I'm taking the previous tone, the bright tone that I had underneath, and I'm going on top of the dark tone that I already laid. I'm taking the advantage that this is wet. So by going wet on wet, you get those blending shapes. If I let it dry, you're gonna get those hard edges. But if you start blending two tones when you just lay down the wet tones, that's where you get those nice blends and smooth transitions. So right now I'm gonna lay down the flats on the blue areas. Now these are large areas, these are trickier to handle because you don't want your markers to be all spotty and have the strokes show. So the way to avoid that is go on by breaking it down into like pieces. Say I'm gonna just do the arm and this part of the chest, because this helps me out, all these areas help me out to break out that shape. So the idea is to do it in one pass so it doesn't dry, because when it dries, that's when you get those marks on top of each other. So it's just doing one in one take and do it many times. Let the paper like soak in all the ink from the marker until you can't take it anymore. Alright, so right now I'm gonna go over with a dark blue and a black. Just try to like push the contrast on some of the shadow areas, kind of like here. Probably start with the flying rocks and then I'll do the background. For this I'm planning to like have like a space scene there. I'll probably have to look for a reference just to don't go there flying solo. By the way, this is a blender. I don't usually use it to blend. I use it more to like give effects, kind of like what I'm doing right now. It kind of makes the markers bleed a little bit, which is an effect that I'm trying to go for. And I think this is it. But hope this was useful and you learned something. If you got any questions, just let me know. Cheers.